Hello, and this evening I'm going to be talking a little bit more about sleep. Following on from my video last week where I talked about the truth behind weight loss in your 40s, the 2 tips that I gave you at the end of that video were about getting your 8 hours sleep in, but also making sure that you're eating within a 10-hour window so that the body has enough time to process during a fasting period overnight. But if we're focusing on sleep, which I know is a problematic area for a lot of people, then there are some things that you can do to put in place to ensure that you get a good night's sleep. And that starts the night before. So it's not just about when we go to bed, it can happen earlier than that. So if we're making sure, if you're eating within that 10-hour window, probably your last meal is around 6 p.m. if you're having your breakfast at 8 p.m. or even if it's 7 p.m, then you're at least giving yourself a good clear 2-3 hours before you might be considering going to bed. And that's important because the body needs to have that time to digest the food so that it's not waking you in the night in order to do so. So trying to ensure that that last meal is not something that is very spicy, that's got MSG in, any additives. So a takeout is not an ideal option if you want a good night's sleep. Also trying to avoid alcohol, because whilst alcohol may help you to get to sleep, it's not necessarily allowing you to get a restful night's sleep. More than likely it's going to wake you in the middle of the night. So trying to avoid spicy foods with additives and nasties in, and avoiding the alcohol as well. You can set an alarm to go to bed, which is a really nice way to remind yourself on time when you need to be moving towards your bed. So if you're setting that around 9:30 and heading up and then going through your unwinding process. So rather than emptying the dishwasher and doing all the other 1,000 tasks that we decide need doing before we go to bed, when we hear that alarm, we go straight up. And when you're up there, making sure, as you will have heard many times before, that your bedroom is free of any blue lights. So trying to avoid being on screens before bedtime. So not thinking, I'm going to really struggle to get to sleep tonight, so I'll just go on my iPad or my phone and check various things. Turn it off, or at least put it on Do Not Disturb if you're using your phone as your alarm. Making sure that the room is nice and cool, it's not too warm, that you've got low lighting in there, that there aren't any noises in there that are going to disturb you in the night, and avoiding watching television in the bedroom, because obviously that is another screen. So once you go up, there are a variety of things that you can do to try and calm the mind and calm the body. Having a hot bath works really nicely, because when you get out of the bath, the body temperature drops. And when the body temperature drops, that's what makes you feel nice and sleepy. So a hot bath is a really nice way to unwind. Reading a good book. When I find a good book, I actually can't wait to go to bed to find out what happens next. So having a good book that you can read, 9 times out of 10 when I'm reading, I'm falling asleep before I get to the end of the page, which is great. You can meditate. There are lots of different apps out there that you could use to meditate, plug your ears in and listen to a meditation. Certainly my children do that in the evening if they're struggling to sleep. I plug them into an app and they can just go through various exercises that are age appropriate to help them nod off. Some people like to do some gentle exercise before bed, and by that I do mean stretching. If you've got any niggles in your back, just working through that so that it's not going to wake you up during the night. Popping some lavender on your pillow is a really nice way to just relax through a different sensory experience. So that does help us to nod off. So I put some lavender either side of my pillow. And chamomile tea is a really nice, you can buy bedtime teas now as well. Obviously not taking that up to bed with you, but if you're having that downstairs in your evening, preparing before you go up to bed, you don't want to be having that when you go to bed, because you'll be up in the night going to the toilet. But these are all different things that you can be doing to ensure you get that restful night's sleep. If you are someone who doesn't have difficulties falling to sleep but wakes in the night, then one of the things that you can do, if you're waking in the night and there's lots of things going round and round in your head, and that's what's keeping you awake because, you know, you're getting stressed, you're getting anxious, I'm not going to remember to do this in the morning and I definitely need to do it, and I wish I'd written it down before I went to bed. Keep a notepad and pen by your bed. So even actually before you fall asleep, if there are things whirring around in your head which is stopping you from either meditating or enjoying your book, you can write them down. They're on a piece of paper and then just park them so that you know they're going to be there in the morning and you're not going to have forgotten to do it. So have the pad and pen next to your bed, in the drawer if necessary. And then when you wake, if you wake in the night, you can write down whatever is bothering you on the piece of paper and say, okay, I've written it down now, I can forget about it, I will deal with it in the morning. If you're still lying there tossing and turning and you're just simply unable to get to sleep, then probably what I would do is get up and actually leave the room. Go somewhere else, do something else, maybe go to the toilet, go and get yourself a glass of water. Just move outside of the environment for a short period of time. Don't start switching bright lights and things on, but just bring yourself out of the room. And then when you've done whatever you need to do, and that might be, you know, going to meditate in another room or something, or just some deep breathing, come back into the room and try again. If that still doesn't work and you're lying there, just try to relax. Try not to stress about the fact that you're not sleeping. Use that time as relaxation. You can't fight to get to sleep. You know, the more you worry about it, the more you stress about it, the less likely it is that you're going to drop off. So just say to yourself, this is fine. You know, yes, I'm wide awake and I would rather be sleeping, but right now my body is still, you know, lying down, it's relaxing, my body is getting some rest, and I just need to focus on allowing my mind to do the same. And so you can then incorporate some of the breathing techniques, some of the meditations that you may have practiced previously, and try to relax. In the morning, if you're used to getting up to an alarm, particularly if you're working towards doing your workouts first thing in the morning, it's nice to set that alarm fairly early so that you can do your 10-15 minute workouts before you start your day. So set the alarm for the morning, you've set it to go to bed, hopefully you've then got your 8 hours sleep, you're setting it to say for 6 a.m. in the morning to get up and do your workouts. If you know you're going to hit snooze, make sure that you move your alarm to the other side of the room so that when that goes off, you can't reach it to just hit it and snooze again, because otherwise you're going to hit snooze several times and before you know it, that time has passed and you're racing against time and you're not going to fit the workout in. You're going to be really, really cross with yourself. It is much harder to do this in the winter months when we wake up and it's still pitch black, the birds aren't even up yet. That is really hard. But once you're up, trust me, it feels good and you will get off to a great start to the day and you won't have that feeling of guilt and disappointment that you might have in yourself for not having done it. And you're not gaining an awful lot by, you know, going back to sleep for 10 minutes and waking up again and going through that cycle. The body's had the 8 hours of sleep. So try and get into a nice routine that the body understands, and move the alarm to the other side of the room so you're not tempted to press snooze. You've got to get up to turn the alarm off. Once you're up, then say to yourself, okay, I'm going to go to the toilet, or I'm going to brush my teeth, or something that keeps you away from your bed so that you are then up and you're moving about. If you are going to do workouts first in the morning, I would lay out your workout clothes the night before. That's exactly what I do. They're on a chair, partly so that I'm not disturbing my husband. I'm not going through drawers and wardrobes and trying to find things in the dark. It's there. I get up, I go to the toilet, I put my workout gear on, grab my phone because I'm probably going to listen to a podcast or something while I'm working out, and then I go and work out. So it's not disturbing anyone, you're not wasting time trying to find things in the dark. So you're good to go first thing in the morning. So those are my tips for a good night's sleep. It isn't going to happen overnight. It takes a while to get used to incorporate some of those techniques. You may already be doing some of them and you may be very familiar with some of them, but if any of those feel new to you, something you haven't tried before, then please give it a go, maybe just one at a time. If you're one of those people that stays up till 1 a.m. looking at your iPad because you cannot sleep, try and ditch the iPad. Much better to be reading a book without that glare off the screen than being on the iPad. And you're not in control of what you see if you're on a screen, because if you're flicking through Facebook, Instagram, anything like this, you don't know what's going to come up on that feed, and sometimes things can come up and actually cause anxiety, cause stress, cause you to think, oh God, that's reminded me I haven't done XYZ, etc. So better to be in control of what you are viewing and how you are feeling at that time of day. So be in control of that. Choose something you're going to read or listen to, whatever that may be. My husband actually listens to podcasts and things while he goes to sleep. I don't want to do that. I want to read. So we're all different, but try and stuff the screens, try and have a little bit more control over what you're doing during that period. And let me know how you get on. I'd love to know if you're using any of these techniques, how they've worked for you, or if you're going to try some of them out and which ones you're going to try out. Good luck, and I hope you get a wonderful night's sleep tonight.